Hello, and welcome to English with Rick, where you are welcome and everybody is equal. This is a lesson about making the sound. Nobody is born knowing how to make the sound. It's something that we all have to learn. And if you're learning how to make the sound for the first time, or if you're just trying to improve the way you make the sound, you've come to the right place, because that's what this lesson is all about. The letter R is responsible for making the sound. When you see the R written, is usually the way it's pronounced. And it's the fourth most commonly used consonant and the eighth most commonly used letter in the English language. It's also important to me because it's in my name. My name is Rick, R-I-K. But it's not just because the sound is in my name that it's important, or that it's a commonly used letter and sound. It's that it's one of those sounds that if you can make it correctly, it really does improve how well people will understand you when you speak English. One of the problems with the sound is other sounds around it. So in words like or, are, were, and year, in those words there are other sounds around the R that change the way that the sounds. The best place to start, however, is with the pure American R, and that's what this lesson is about today. If you're already making the sound and trying to improve it, or if you've never made the sound before, these few steps I'm about to show you might be a shortcut in how to make the sound. And if this works for you, great. It may be all you need. So here are those things to try. First, take your tongue, bring it toward the front of your mouth. Now, at the front of your mouth, right behind these teeth, your top front teeth, there's a little bump back there just behind your teeth. It's called the alveolar ridge, but we'll just call it a bump. Bring your tongue near that alveolar ridge, but not touching it, and then curl your tongue back toward the back of your mouth. At the same time, vibrate your vocal cords and breathe out. If you do these things, you should be making the sound. Here's a method you could use to practice making the sound, the pure American sound. Well, start with the E sound and move it toward the sound. So start with E, and while you're making the E sound, curl your tongue back toward the back of your mouth. Because for the E sound, your tongue is already high and at the front of your mouth. Change it to the by curling your tongue toward the back of your mouth. So your sound would go from E to like this. Ear, ear. And you can practice this with some English words like fear, because fear has the E sound just before the sound. So try repeating this sound change with me. Fear. One more time. Fear. And how about the word near? Near. Near. Here are some things you can do to make the pure American sound. Your tongue should be up toward the front of your mouth, near that bump or ridge that's behind your top front teeth. So your tongue comes near there, and then you curl it toward the back of your mouth. Your tongue doesn't touch any part of the inside of your mouth up in that area, but it's close to that bump. Now at the back of your mouth, your tongue actually does touch the inside of your back teeth and also the roof of your mouth. There's a little bit of pressure there. Your mouth is slightly open. Your vocal cords vibrate when you make the pure American R, the sound. And there's a pathway for air to flow, a narrow pathway from the back of your mouth to the front. In that narrow pathway, you can have airflow continuous. And what that means is you can make the sound as long as you want. Well, as long as you have air inside of you. Your lips are rounded and forward a bit. Your upper lip is up, your lower lip is down, and the sides of your mouth, like the corners right here, you actively pull them in a little bit. The back of your tongue is very near the roof of your mouth at the back. Your tongue is tense when you make the pure American sound, and the sound actually comes from an area at the back of your mouth. Probably not a good idea to try all of the steps at once. There are quite a few things to do to make the American sound, so try picking one thing at a time so that you're not concentrating on too many things at once when you're making the sound. Pick something that's new to you, something that you didn't know before, didn't do before, and do that now. Pick something in that list that's new to you, something that you think might be a problem, and something that you haven't practiced before as we make the sound together. I'll make the sound and give you time to repeat it after me. Er. 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 Try making the sound at the end of words. Repeat after me. Fear. 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 Dear. 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 Fair. 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 If you were successful at making the sound by itself, and you could make the sound at the end of those words without too much problem, try repeating these words after me. Right. 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 Rope. 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 Form. 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 March. 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 Fur. 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 Speaker. 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 You can master the pure American R. All you need to do is go back, listen to this podcast again, find the steps that you need to take to make the R sound, and find the things that you can't do well. Those are the things that you can practice by just making the sound with me in the podcast and repeating the words that we practiced as well. You can always contact me for a private lesson if you want, englishwithrick@gmail.com. Could be about the pure American R sound, any other sound in English, or any other topic at all. You can also check out my YouTube channel, English with Rick. Lots of free videos in there. You can also support me on Patreon. $5 a month supports me making these podcasts. It also gives you exclusive access to extra podcasts, sometimes some extra practice in making these sounds, and documents that you can download, like the transcript for the podcast, and extra materials to help you follow along with the podcast and learn better. You can also suggest future lessons. So that's patreon.com. Search for English with Rick.